This is the DJI Osmo Pocket 4P, and the idea behind this camera is very simple. Take the little stabilized camera people already love for travel and vlogging, then give it a real second camera for portraits and extra reach. So instead of one wide lens doing everything, you have a 20mm wide camera for the big scene and a dedicated 60mm f1.8 medium telephoto camera for people, details, and more cinematic framing. I've been using this camera for the past 2 months or so, and in today's video I'll let you know everything you need to know about the Pocket 4P and whether you should pick one up. Now obviously the biggest elephant in the room is the Luna Ultra from Insta360. This is its biggest competitor, and I will dive very deep into a full comparison video for my next video, so make sure you're subscribed if you want to see that. Today we'll focus solely on the Pocket 4P so we can let it shine, and in my next video you'll see those two head to head, trying to figure out which one is the best pocket camera. So the main idea of the Pocket 4P is to remove friction. Maybe you can leave your big camera behind, your lenses, your microphones, your tripods, your gimbals, and just take this with you without feeling like you're missing out. It has a 2-inch 1000 nit touchscreen, 3 built-in microphones, 103 GB of internal storage, a micro SD expansion up to 1 TB, and a 1545 mAh battery. And before we get into the camera parameters and everything you need to know about the camera, here's what you get with the creator combo of the Osmo Pocket 4P. Besides the camera, of course, first you get this carrying bag, which is very similar to what we have on the Osmo Pocket 4. Then we have this carrying pouch. I'm really bummed out that you don't have a case for the camera itself, as especially since you have 2 lenses and they're protruding quite a lot and they're quite exposed as well. You don't have a solid place to put this camera without feeling like you're going to damage it. So hopefully some third-party accessories will solve this issue. You also have a fill light, exactly the same as the one we have on the Osmo Pocket 4. You have the handle with a tripod mount on the bottom, wide-angle lens, no ND filters though, which again is a little bit questionable for a cinema-style camera. We have a DJI Mic 3 with all the magnets and clips necessary with the wind muff on top, and we have this frame tap remote, which I believe comes from the Osmo Mobile 8, if I'm not mistaken. This is DJI's reply to Insta360 when it comes to having a remote controller with a built-in screen, which will allow you to frame yourself from a distance, start and stop recording, adjust the gimbal, and adjust the zoom as well. Finally, you have USB-C cable for charging the microphone, and this cable for charging the frame tap remote controller. I'm not too happy with the way they are dealing with this, as you have a proprietary cable for charging your microphone and a proprietary cable for charging your remote controller, which of course you need to take with you if you don't want to stay without a battery. So not ideal, but that's what we're working with here with the Osmo Pocket 4P. Now let's talk about the cameras, because obviously those are the most important features of the Pocket 4P. Starting out first with the wide-angle camera, which is a 20mm equivalent f2.0 aperture lens, which gives you the ability to shoot in D-Log 2. This is a brand new color profile from DJI with impressive 17 stops of dynamic range, or up to 17 stops of dynamic range in D-Log 2. Now, before we get into that, just keep in mind, D-Log 2 is only available on the wide-angle lens. As soon as you start zooming, going to 2x, 3x, 6x, or even 12x, you lose the ability to use D-Log 2. So D-Log 2 is amazing for color grading, for achieving great results with a lot of flexibility for color grading, but it only works on the wide-angle lens. When we go to the second medium telephoto lens, which is a 3x optical zoom or 60mm equivalent with an aperture of f1.8, you lose the ability to use D-Log 2, so you need to use D-Log. This is the regular D-Log that we know from other devices such as the Osmo Pocket 4 and also the drones like Mavic 4 Pro. So this is how things look like with the Pocket 4P in D-Log 2 mode. Everything is set to automatic with color recovery on, which is quite useful to have so you can actually see what you're filming. But what I'm seeing on the screen looks quite good in terms of colors, dynamic range, and pretty impressive from a camera this size. D-Log is also amazing to color grade, but it has less dynamic range. And the annoying thing is when you switch between the different lenses, you lose the ability to have the same color. So D-Log and D-Log 2 kind of have different exposures, and unfortunately that kind of gives you a little bit more friction. As the camera is trying to remove friction, it creates some friction when you switch between the different lenses. So that's not ideal, but let me tell you, the colors and the image that you can get out of these two sensors, both the 1X and the 3X on the Pocket 4P, is just amazing. It's by far the best pocket camera I've ever used. So if you're not worried about the inconsistency in colors between D-Log and D-Log 2, you will be super happy to have this. At 20mm, you get a subject and its environment, whereas at 60mm, you can focus so much more on a specific object, on a person's face, to showcase some emotions and kind of tighten your shot. So that creates a very distinctive look that you can get on the Osmo Pocket 4P.
One of my favorite ways to check out dynamic range is to shoot at midday, where the sun is really high up in the sky, which is exactly the case right now. It's right there behind me. So that means that my face is super dark as the light is just behind me. So the best chance to kind of save the shot is to use D-Log 2, which will give us the maximum amount of dynamic range. So I'll try to bring back some midtones, some shadows in post. I'm not too sure if that will work super well, but you be the judge. You let me know what do you think about this shot and whether it's actually something usable. We're doing exactly the same thing now with regular D-Log, so I'm already seeing a massive difference in terms of how my face looks like and how much brighter everything behind me is. We'll see whether the shot will look any better on the computer, because right now it looks massively different from what it was with D-Log 2. And why not? Let's just include normal 10-bit color as well, so we can see how the Osmo Pocket 4P will try to expose itself for this image. This is everything in automatic camera settings, of course, and normal color profile with the sun still very much up there in the sky, very bright, beaming on my shoulders.
By the way, all the footage that you're seeing in this video has been graded with my super grade LUTs, which you will find linked in the description. If you want to achieve similar colors to your footage as well, all you need to do is drag the LUT on top of your footage, make sure you're shooting in D-Log or D-Log 2, adjust the exposure, and you're good to go. Many of you have already given me excellent feedback on the super grade LUTs, and I'm super appreciative of all of your feedback and support, so thank you so much. Now keep in mind, 1X and the 3X are the only optical choices that you have. This is the only optical zoom that you have. 2X and 6X and 12X are all digital crops. So if you want to get the best quality possible out of the Pocket 4P, you either need to shoot at 1X or at 3X. Everything else still looks great, but is a little bit of a compromise. Next, we have slow motion footage, which is up to 4K 240 frames per second on the wide angle lens, which is exactly the same thing that we had on the Pocket 4. But if you want to use it on the medium telephoto lens in 60mm or 3X, you get a maximum of 4K 200 frames per second. Now, one thing that you need to know is that if you shoot in slow-mo, the camera will switch automatically to standard color profile, so you don't have that flexibility of shooting in D-Log or D-Log 2. Unfortunately, you only have standard color profile, which still looks great, by the way, but it doesn't give you that flexibility that you might need. For tracking, you have ActiveTrack 8.0, which can follow people, vehicles, pets, and other objects across the focal range, including the medium telephoto lens, which is great to have. I have found out that tracking works pretty well. Unless you really zoom in quite a lot, then the tracking is a little bit more unpredictable and it gets a little bit easier to lose the subject. So if you want the best tracking results possible, you might be able to get them in wide angle with a wide angle lens. The Pocket 4P handles night footage really well for a camera this size. You can keep filming after sunset without worrying that the image will fall apart or lose all the detail in the darker areas. So street lights, shop signs, and headlights, they all still look natural, and the footage stays stable while you're walking or moving through a scene. You have a dedicated night mode, but The weird thing is that you can get great results even while shooting in D-Log 2 with the wide-angle lens or D-Log with the medium telephoto lens, but stay tuned for my full test with the Luna Ultra to see more details about the night footage. So let me quickly show you how I carry around the Pocket 4P because it might be useful for some of you. First off, I have this carrying case by Tilta, which is very rigid and protects the camera, which is something that I need. Then inside, when you open it, you will see I have some compartments here. Here I have the charging cables, just in case I need to charge up the remote or the microphone. You can put some more stuff here if needed. Then I have this power bank. It's a very small and at the same time a very nice power bank that gives you an indication on the display how much battery you have left. Then I have this pouch that I showed you that comes with a creator kit. And inside it might be a little bit messy right now, but usually I have the frame tap remote controller here. Then I have the microphone, obviously, and some miscellaneous stuff here, as well as some ND filters from Freewell. These are the ones that I use the most. Those are ND16, ND32 and ND64 polarized versions on all of them, and then I have the wide angle lens. And when we talk about the camera itself, I have just put this KNF Concept magnetic stand, which is quite useful to have because it doubles not only as a regular stand, so you can put the Pocket 4P on the ground like so, but it also comes with this magnetic back. This is a magnetic attachment here, which obviously sticks to any magnetic surface that you can find. And most importantly, this thing transforms into a tripod as well. So you can easily use it as a solid tripod since the Pocket 4P does not come with a built-in tripod legs. With this, you keep the small footprint of the whole device. You still have some magnetic back here with a little bit more peace of mind knowing that it can stay on its own. Now, after using the Pocket 4P for about 2 months now, I have a lot of things to say that I like and a lot of things to say that I think could be improved and could be polished out by DJI in the upcoming months, or are just things that I don't like. So here they are. First, starting out with what I don't like. For me, the telephoto lens is an add-on. It's not equal to the main camera. It's great in good daylight, but it falls apart when shooting in less than ideal conditions, and also because the fact that you cannot use D-Log 2 with the 17 stops of dynamic range on it. Also, tracking, like I said, is not the best when moving through the higher zoom ranges, so keep that in mind as well. And while we have 4K 240 frames per second, which is seriously impressive, looks great, if that was available in D-Log or D-Log 2, that would have been amazing. Now with standard color profile, it's kind of meh because I kind of don't want to use it knowing that the camera can record such high quality footage in other frames per second variants. Another thing, like I said, that I don't like is the fact that the gimbal is so exposed, and with the fact that this is so big, I kind of feel nervous every time I pick this camera up and I want to shoot with it for longer periods of time where you never really know where you're going to put it, how it's going to stay. I wish DJI came out with a gimbal cover or at least some type of protection for the camera. That's something that I don't really like. And finally, some small gripes when it comes to workflow that are, for example, not having 4K vertical, you only have 3K in vertical mode, or not having enough internal storage as Pocket 4, you have less than that. So I was really hoping for a little bit more in those areas, but those are definitely things that I can live with. Now, let's focus on the things I really like after using this for about 2 months now. First is the 3X, the 60mm medium telephoto lens, which seriously changes the way you shoot with a pocket camera. I love it. And even though we don't have the 17 stops of dynamic range and D-Log 2 on that lens, I still think this lens is great and it produces some great looking footage, especially when used in proper lighting. It is a very low friction type of camera. You can just pick it up without any accessories, without even having a microphone. You can just power it on and start shooting straight away. It powers on extremely quickly and you're ready to go. That's something I really like. Tracking, subject recognition, this extra remote controller for additional flexibility when shooting solo, they all make the camera a lot more easy to use and a lot more pleasant to use for solo shooters. Especially considering everything that we've seen in the past couple of months from DJI with the Pocket 4, from Insta360 with their Luna Ultra, and now the Pocket 4P, I think we're in a great time where everyone can pick up one of these pocket cameras and start shooting amazing looking video without having that many compromises anymore. And now it's really easier than ever to get those smooth, great looking shots with something so tiny and portable, and that really would make big cameras obsolete for many people. I'm sure about that. Even for myself, I think in many scenarios, sometimes I just don't want to bring my big camera anymore because I can do it all even with this. So this says enough. As a person who really loves their big camera, I just love these pocket cameras so much, and I would advise you to stay tuned for my next video, which will be an in-depth comparison between the Pocket 4P and the Luna Ultra from Insta360. You don't want to miss that, so make sure you're subscribed. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. I'll catch you in the next one very, very soon. Ciao.